You ever changed the TV channel as a kid and you finally, like, at the end of the third lap through all the channels, you finally declared that nothing is on?
Yes. I had like a set order that I would go in also. Like,
oh, you didn't flip through all of them? You just only checked the ones?
No. I had like, well, we didn't have cable or anything growing up. We just had like the standard like local channels. And so I would go through like the 6 that I liked. There were 4 that I didn't like because I had like reruns of black and white shows or old TV shows that I knew nothing about. And so I just had my set order every single time. I'd go through it once and then I'd go through it a second time to see if there was anything interesting that magically appeared after the first time.
How long would you watch the channel before you determined that channel there was nothing on?
Probably way too short to give it an actual chance.
Well, that's sort of what we're talking about today. So
Perfect.
We do this in life too. We change the channel before we even see if there's anything good on. And we just assume that within 3 to 5 minutes of experiencing something that we don't want anything to do with that area for the rest of our lives. So
I only waited like 15 seconds, so we're already ahead of me.
Okay, perfect. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Let's Quit podcast.
Quitting is not always a bad thing.
If you have the right mindset, quitting can be the most powerful tool you have on your journey to success. It's certainly been helpful for us.
Whether it's flying through hurricanes, building our businesses, or just trying to get to bed on time, we're always trying to level up and improve our lives.
This is the show where we share the lessons, experiences, and friends that have helped us live this incredible life. So let's quit the bad and grow the good together.
All right, so welcome back to the show, guys. If this is your first time listening, welcome. We're so thankful you're here. And if this is your 59th time listening, you're the real MVP. I can't believe you've been here for 59 episodes.
I
Thank you.
can't believe I've been here for 59 episodes.
I hope I'm here for 59 more.
At least. So, yeah, thanks so much for listening to the show. The best thing you can do is share the show with somebody else. Podcast doesn't make us any money. It's sort of our therapy session for the week. So you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And so we're super excited to have your support and your ears every week. But with that being said, let's get into the book question, shall we? I haven't looked at it. What do you think?
All right, 50-50 shot. It's either going to be deep or it's going to be kind of shallow and funny.
All right, let's see. Question number 6. Ooh, it's kind of deep. Yeah, that's a deep one.
Oh no, these ones always get me.
It's not the Mariana Trench, but it is the deep end of the swimming pool.
Okay.
What do you consider the most overrated virtue? I like this one. You get canceled real easy for this one.
I know.
You gotta be careful with your words here.
Overrated virtue.
Overrated virtue. So I guess what are they getting at? Like something that's like commonly applauded, but is actually not all that great?
Yeah, commonly applauded or maybe like utilized in the wrong way at the wrong times.
I've got one.
I'm sure you do. What's yours?
And I don't think I'm allowed to say this one because I don't have this condition, but I see the opposite. I see people that are opposite of me and I see them destroy their lives because of it. So with that caveat and understanding that I am the most selfish person that exists on the face of the planet, I can say that some of y'all give way too much.
Okay.
Some of y'all would give the shirt off your back if it was the last possession that you owned. Mm-hmm. Not that there's anything wrong with giving to other people. That is not what I'm trying to say. But what I'm saying is that sometimes when you want to help somebody or when you want to give to somebody else, it needs to be out of a fullness of your heart. You can't give to somebody if your cup is empty. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
I totally see what you're saying.
I'm not saying don't give to other people. I'm not saying be selfish. I'm saying there are some people out there that would literally give themselves like out of existence and they don't need to.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No,
because sometimes that causes more problems than it solves. Because
I would agree because I'm on that end of the spectrum.
So let me give you a quick example to bring this into reality. So there's a coworker. You probably have a coworker that's always trying to help other people. Hey, let me help you. Can I help you on this project? What do you need from me? Mm-hmm. Like, how can I help? How can I help? And then they look. You can also see this in schoolwork sometimes too, like a group project. It's like the person's so busy helping other people with their thing that they don't turn in their own assignment. Mm-hmm. That they don't get their own work done. And everybody else has to stay late and help them catch up, even though they spent their entire workday helping other people. And then everybody's mad at them and they want to play victim and they're like, I was helping everybody. Why can't y'all help me with my stuff? It's like, look, if we all just did our own work and we all collaborated together like we're supposed to, none of this would have ever happened. Anyway, so I guess the most overrated, I wouldn't call it overrated. I would just say misused.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's the advice that's given. Well, you just need to help other people. And it's like, you're enabling half the population to like run off the deep end and ruin their lives.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And I guess mine's kind of the same way too. So mine would be patience. I think that's kind of an overrated virtue because like I'm the type of person that would wait way too long for something. I'd be way too patient. I wouldn't be, I don't know.
Outspoken enough?
Yes.
You wouldn't speak up when you needed to.
Yes.
Because you're trying to be
just
patient.
Be patient. And everybody says patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue. And while patience is very good, like there are areas in my life where I probably need to be more patient.
There's also a time to not be patient.
To not be patient.
There's a time to not tolerate bad things.
Yes.
So I guess we're getting at the same thing. It's like it's these virtues that we always hear about, but sometimes they're applied to the wrong situation.
Right.
We hear an axiom or we hear a phrase.
So I don't even know if it's overrated. It's just when improperly applied. Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't too deep.
Yeah.
That wasn't too bad.
That wasn't bad.
I got through that one okay.
Okay, cool. What's the next thing we got to talk about? It's a weekly update, right?
Our weekly update, yeah. So what have we been up to?
Let's unlock the iPad here because we can't do anything without a script. We also have charcuterie, by the way.
Yeah.
Some stuff in the fridge that was going to go bad.
We'll explain that in the weekly update. That'll all make sense.
Okay. Well, we got some fine charcuterie for us to share. I'm going to eat a raspberry.
Oh, my gosh. All right.
I don't like raspberries.
Well, then why'd you eat one?
I don't know.
Do you like blackberries?
Not really.
Then why do we have this board? I guess I'm eating the charcuterie board. Anyways.
Nobody wants to hear me chew either.
So the things that we did this week, we had a really big month for sales in our woodworking business, which was super exciting.
I think the YouTube video today will talk about that. It should be coming out tomorrow, so.
Yep. So you'll see that in the video. But it was just a super solid month. I had some really good leads. I followed up with some people that I thought were like just dead leads or like just duds, said no, didn't want to buy. And I was like, yeah, let's give it one more chance. Maybe time has, changed their mind. And sure enough, it did.
So were these people that gave you a hard no and you just reached out again?
These were, a couple of them were people that said no in the moment. And then I called back again a few months later and I got the real story. Like there was one person who wasn't allowed to give like client gifts at their brokerage. Like they determined what gifts they give. They couldn't spend any additional marketing money. And so she was like, no, I'm not kidding you. Like I'm literally not allowed to buy. Like I would if I could, but I can't. Like it has to be a no. And so I'm like, no is, a relative. No is a relative term. And so I just put
it was a no from her brokerage, but it was not a no from her.
Correct. And so I just still put her in my spreadsheet and then called her back a year later. And she's like, hey, I'm actually forming my own group. Like I'm leaving that brokerage because I don't like them. And so I kind of just got to follow her like entrepreneurial journey of like leaving the other one and starting her own thing. And then sure enough, she bought a set and was super excited. She's like, no, now that I have my own thing, I can actually spend my money. Like, heck yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. You've also been experimenting with some new marketing techniques that are paying off, it seems like.
Yeah. So I decided to start sending people like Instagram videos. So like I'll DM people and try to talk to them, but like people can easily delete DMs. They can easily just read them and not reply to you. So I've been sending videos.
But the kicker is that you leveraging the fact that we sell boards to people that they follow. So Jennie's a professional Instagram stalker, if anybody didn't know.
Yes.
And what she'll do is she'll find accounts that follow people that we've already sold boards to, and then she will use one of the sample boards from them, point to their name and say, look, I'm engraving this board for this person. I'd love for this name to be yours, knowing that the other person follows whoever the board is currently engraved for. So you're sort of giving them a little bit of FOMO. You're saying like, hey, catch up to your competitor here. Maybe like competition. Yeah. And that has gotten just some overwhelmingly good responses.
Yeah, that's done well. So, and then I also tried doing like an Instagram live. So just going live on Instagram with somebody else, whether it's a realtor or a mortgage broker, or I don't know, really anybody that I feel like I formed a good relationship with, either through calling them about a board or whatever.
It's just good old fashioned networking. Just talking to people, shaking babies, kissing hands.
Yes. And so I had one really nice mortgage broker over to do an Instagram live. and we made a charcuterie board, and she like unboxed it on camera and then did a Q&A, and then right afterwards she just bought 30 boards.
That's awesome.
So that worked out well for me.
Yeah. We were also on the 731 Woodworks live show.
Yeah.
They invited us to come out. Apparently you guys, a lot of our audience was begging for us to be on their show, and we were on. It was a good time.
It was
a
a
lot of
really
fun.
good time. Yeah.
Yeah. Been hearing a lot about that this week. I didn't realize so many people were
People like,
watching.
I watched you. I was like, I didn't know everybody tuned in. Because like on our end, when we host a live like that, we can see who joins. But when you're on the other, like the guest side, you can't really see any numbers. So you don't know who's there. You just know like, okay, 400 people are watching. I have no clue who those people are.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, we've just been so busy this week. I've been working on the kitchen table.
Yeah.
I feel kind of bad because we didn't promote that Instagram or that YouTube live event because we were just so busy with everything else going on.
Swamped.
And we're trying to get that done before I left because I'm about to leave. We can talk about that in a little bit. But like I'm about to leave for 2 weeks to go fly through winter storms off the West Coast with the hurricane hunters. And we wanted to get that done before I had to leave. I also need to get this kitchen table done before I leave, which is sort of... I don't know. The YouTube video coming out later today or tomorrow will have the result, but hopefully I got it done in time.
Today's going to be cramped, but that's okay. And then, so you're peacing out to go fly through winter storms, just like I did a few weeks ago. But now it's Davis's turn to go fly. We've decided that we cannot go fly at the same time because there's just way too much to do back here. So now we have to alternate when we go.
Well, till we get some employees that can sort of run the shop on their own. I mean, it doesn't make sense for us to both be gone at the same time. Hopefully in the future we can.
I want to go on these trips at the same time. It'd be fun, but it just doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah. So on a completely unrelated note, our scrap wood is back in stock.
Yes.
Scrap bin's full.
Box O scrap.
If you've been waiting on that, you know where to find it. It's in the description of the YouTube videos. There's a link there. We could
probably just put the link in this episode too. You want to just leave it in the YouTube?
We got so few boxes. The people that want it will find it.
That's true. Yeah, it is limited because we only have so much scrap at one time.
Right.
So it's like.
But anyway, we're excited for those of you that appreciate the scraps. We know that it helps out a lot of those of you that can't make it to the lumber store or don't have access to hardwoods. Anyway, this batch is supposed to be mostly white oak, walnut, and 1 or 2 cutting boards that made it in there. So
which is maple and cherry. So.
Yeah.
That's a lot of really good.
Again, no promises.
Yeah.
Read our very angry our sales
product description.
It's the worst sales page ever. And I knew that when I wrote it because I wanted to set the expectations.
It's like lumber of any type, any shape, cut into any size, sanded to any grit.
Right. Well,
might have glue.
I want to make it very clear that these are scraps. They are in the scrap bucket for a reason, and I don't want anybody to be disillusioned thinking that they're going to get perfect, immaculate, like first and seconds scraps of hardwood because there's a reason it's in the scrap bucket. So anyway, if I haven't sold you on it already,
go
smarttable.com/boxoscrap, all one word. And sweet. With that being said, let's move on to the title topic.
Yeah.
We don't have a quote. This is like the 3rd episode in a row we haven't had a quote.
I know. We're getting really bad about that. We need to get better about finding a quote.
I don't know. Do you guys care about the quotes?
Do you care about the quote? What if we start... Oh, no. We might get into like copyright issues. What if we posted the question?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Quote. Nah, that's iffy.
Okay. So, give direct definition of the show title and our proposed solution. Stay on track here.
Oh my gosh.
The episode of this one is Quit Changing the Channel. What do we mean by that, Jenny?
Oh my gosh. It's not giving any... new thing in your life enough time to like grow on you or flourish, I guess.
It's basically quitting too soon.
Yeah.
Despite the name of our podcast, sometimes quitting is not the answer.
Yeah, or quitting too soon.
Sometimes you need to quit quitting.
Yeah.
Quit quitting and stick it out a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, so when you like, you're giving something a shot and you're like, not for me, channel change, next, like, new hobby, new job, new whatever.
Yeah, so we see this a lot in like hobbies and jobs and like, I don't know, that friend or whatever in high school that like worked at a fast food restaurant for like a day and then quit their job. Like you didn't even give it a chance.
You're like, I just didn't like it.
Not that the fast food life is glamorous, but like, those people that just give up after trying something for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Not to get too personal or strike a nerve with too many people, but like we see a lot all the time. We sell woodworking programs or somebody jumps in the stud stack and they have every intention of starting a business. And then in a month or so when, like they realize they haven't made any progress and they're
Yeah.
like, I don't really want to do this anymore. And it's like, okay, change the channel. Now there's something to be said for self-awareness, and that's not who we're talking about. We're talking about the people that like get really excited about it, make a big decision, and then a month later they're like, nah, it's just playing.
Yeah, completely just disinterested. Yeah.
Right. And that kind of hurts because, like, I don't know. But again, we need to give out of the fullness of our hearts, not because we're expecting anything in return, but like we love seeing people succeed. And when we see somebody give up and quit, I don't know, it makes me feel a little bad because it's like, you could have done it. You could have.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I get that some people have legitimate reasons and stuff. And that, again, that's not who I'm talking about. But it just hurts when you see somebody that doesn't have the discipline built up, doesn't have the life experience to like understand staying committed to a single task.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am talking like I know what that lesson means.
Yeah.
But it's just...
There are some areas that we've channel changed in the past too.
Anyway, but yeah, so we just wanted to talk about that because that's something that Jennie and I are really bad at. We're constantly changing the channel. We're always trying to reinvent the wheel before we've even given it a chance to work. We do this with YouTube all the time.
Yes.
We're constantly like changing how we make YouTube videos when we've only done half a dozen videos of a certain style.
When we really just needed to stick it out for a while.
And that's one of the reasons that our social media growth has been much slower than a lot of other people's, is because it's just we don't stick to the same format. We change things too often, and 6 months later, 5 changes later, we look back at our videos and we're like, why did these 5 do really well? But we've changed the formula again, so we don't remember what we did. So we're constantly in our lives being faced with opportunities.
Which is why the ending song in all of our videos is literally called Stick to the Plan.
Because that has been our anthem for getting any sort of
progress made in either business. Is like we're great at coming up with plans. It's sticking to the plans that's the hard part, and so we're constantly reminding ourselves to just repeat what works sometimes.
Yeah. Another thing is like we taste something for a little bit and then we immediately assume that we know everything there is to know about that thing.
Once you feel like you're enough of an expert and you're like, I got this. But really, you're not.
Like, really, how much do you know after day one of trying something? You see this with like diets a lot. Like you hear people like we've done this many times. We've started a new diet, or we've got a change to how we want to eat food or something like that. And like we do it for 2 days and we're like, this is not sustainable. It's like, no, it's just uncomfortable and you don't like it.
I feel like we also kind of did this. We had our reasons, but we kind of did this with rock climbing. I feel like we got to a level where we felt like we were good enough. We were kind of mastering it, and then we were like, and I'm done.
So I have this really bad habit with hobbies that I pick out of like, I love attacking the learning curve. I love it's my brain's wiring, but like I really like consuming information.
Yeah.
And once I have consumed all of a hobby and it gets to the point where you have to start putting in repetitions to get better, that's when I give up.
Right, because rock climbing, if we were to continue doing it, we would have gotten to the point where it's like you had to start working out like the specific muscles in your fingers and doing like pull-ups with like 3 or 4 fingers, or like really getting specific.
You have to start doing the same thing over and over and over. You can't just be newest, latest, and greatest techniques anymore. There's not anything new to learn in rock climbing. If you want to advance to the next level, you got to start doing the same thing over and over. And Jen and I are notoriously bad at giving up right at that moment because we enjoy attacking the learning curve.
Yeah.
You see this in our businesses too. As soon as we start making money, it's going to be really hard for us to stay hungry because it's no longer new and shiny and exciting and cool and fun. So we're going to have to keep finding ways that we can stay motivated, and just knowing that about ourselves can help us sometimes because we can dangle that carrot out in front of us to chase it. I don't know. We give ourselves a reason to change the channel in something small so that we stick with the larger plan going forward. So like building this business, like, I don't know. I feel like I've learned everything there is to learn about building and selling cutting and charcuterie boards.
But now we just have to keep doing it. It doesn't matter now. We just.
So our business model is we are outsourcing that. We're trying to make that automatic so that other people do that, and then we can focus on engineering a table product for sale.
Right. So it's not like us quitting it all together. It's us understanding the importance of keeping it going and sticking to a plan that works. It's just handing it to other people that can execute.
And for our brains that constantly want to change the channel, we need to change what product we're producing or inventing or whatever every year or so, because we are going to go crazy if we have to do the same thing 3 years in a row. So it's not that we're not willing to build a woodworking business for 10 years. It's that we know we need to make little channel changes every year just to keep ourselves motivated and interested. Otherwise, we're going to get bored and tear the whole thing apart. So it's really just a battle with yourself. What is it? Moby Dick. I haven't read the book, but again, here I am taking an ounce of information and just assuming that I know everything about it. Like Moby Dick, like the big great white whale, like the whale doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to read that book.
I think so. I think it ends up that it doesn't exist. It's
right.
like all about the chase.
Right. It's just like him conquering his demons. He's chasing his imagination or his own fear. The white whale doesn't really exist. I don't know if that's just a theory about the book or if that's actually what the book is about. I need to read the book, Moby Dick.
Yes.
Okay. That's the one with the whale, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. The white whale.
Okay, great. Captain Ahab.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll put that on the reading list. Cool.
But,
so that's basically what we mean. Again, we see this. Jennie and I have done this at the gym countless times. How many times have you tried to get in a workout routine?
Yeah.
And you just get bored of it. You don't see results. And you're just
maybe I'll go in the morning. Maybe I'll go in the afternoons. Maybe I'll go on the weekends. And you're like, oh, nope. And before you know it, you're like, oh, I haven't gone in a while.
Yep.
Because you weren't consistent with any one plan.
We just get bored too easily. Yep. That's really what it is. So, yeah, I mean, like any lifestyle change that you're trying to make, it just, if you are of this persuasion where you constantly change the channel, like Jennie and I, then you're going to see this in every lifestyle change you try to do. You just get bored with it, and you just want to flip the table over and start all over from scratch. And I don't know, you just can't help it. Your brain constantly wants to change the channel. I don't know. I very much identify with the people that say they have ADHD. I don't know that I have ADHD, but I understand that feeling of like constantly needing my attention focused or entertained on something else.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Wow. I say we get into some action steps.
Let's do it.
So let's see. Our first action step is to write down 3 things that you want to change in the next 10 years. You'll learn to look at your life in 10-year increments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is that important?
I feel like, what's that quote by Bill Gates? It's like you underestimate what you can do in 10 years, but overestimate what you can do in 1 or something like that. I feel like that gives you healthy perspective because you're not going to get anything legitimately large like accomplished in your life in just 6 months to a year. Sometimes you have to allow yourself the time to put in the reps to grow something big. If you want to change something small in your life, maybe you can do that in like 6 to 12 months. But
yeah, well, I mean, when it comes to big lifestyle changes, like you want to be making decisions like you're making a decision for the next 10 years. Now, if it totally doesn't work and it totally falls apart, you're going to know after the first year. Sometimes you'll know after the first 6 months, but at least you gave it the old college try.
And then I think it's breaking it down into like, now how can I do this monthly, weekly, daily? Now that I have my 10-year goal, I understand that I don't have to eat the whole elephant in a year, but how do I break down that 10-year goal into like yearly goals?
Right. And again, that's just going to teach you patience. It's going to, that's a little, Jennie thinks is overrated. But yeah, like, and if you're not sure where to start, like let's say you're, I don't know, stupid analogy. Let's pretend you're going camping and you're carrying all your stuff on your back. Like if you don't pick a campsite, it's getting dark. Like time is running out.
Like you gotta set up somewhere.
Setting up somewhere bad, at least you got a little bit of daylight, you can try to fix it.
Right.
But if you don't choose, if you're looking for the perfect spot and the sun goes down and your tent's not set up, you're going to wish you'd stopped at a worse campsite.
Right.
So with life, thinking about it in 10-year increments, like time is passing us by.
Right.
You got to pick something.
And what's that Tom Bilyeu quote? It's like, I'd rather be running 100 miles in the wrong direction than not like trying anything at all.
Yep. So there's something to be said for that. Like you can't, by not making a decision, you're making a decision to not make progress.
Right.
And so again,
indecision is a decision.
It's far easier to course correct running in the wrong direction than to course correct not doing anything at all.
See, we said we didn't have a quote for this episode. We've had like at least 3 quotes for this episode.
That's why nobody cares about the quotes, is because they get 6 or 7 every podcast. Okay, great. Cool. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see Jennie next week? ?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see somebody.
To be continued.
To be continued.